I would like to call the SLDC Board of Directors meeting to order on January 19th, 2023 at 8:02 a.m. With that, can I have a roll call?
Good morning, Chairman Richardson,
Present.
Director Anderson, Director Boyd, Director Davis, Director Dula, Director Gilbert, presentation.
For some reason, people can't go off mute. And okay. Can you enable folks to go off mute?
It is enabled, I don't know.
Oh, he gets to check it, he gets to check it. Again, see if that helps.
Now it is. Thank you.
Now it is.
All right.
Director
Alright, so-
McBride,
Present.
Director Shapiro,
Present.
and Director Spencer.
Present.
So I just wanted to confirm, who do we have present? So Elise, can you confirm the people who are on mute? I'm sorry.
Director Anderson? Okay. Director Boyd,
Present.
Director Davis,
Present.
Director Dula, Director Gilbert,
Present.
Director McBride,
Present.
Director Shapiro,
Present.
and Director Spencer.
Present.
Great. Thank you. With that, we have a quorum. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the December 15th, 2022 regular board meeting that was held via Zoom. I would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So move McBride.
Second, Boyd.
With a motion and a second, do I have a roll call vote, please?
Director Anderson, Director Boyd,
Aye.
Director Davis,
Aye.
Director Dula, Director Gilbert,
Aye.
Director McBride,
Aye.
Director Shapiro,
Aye.
and Director Spencer.
Aye.
Chairman Richardson is the aye on the approval of the minutes as well. So with that, the motion passes, approving the minutes from the December 15th, 2022 regular board meeting. The first resolution on the agenda for today is resolution number 23 SLDC 868, authorizing contributions totaling $150,000 over 40 months to Slate and Rankin Technical College in support of the Youth Build program. I'll pass it over to Ms. Stacy Fowler to give a quick overview of the resolution, and I believe we have a representative from Slate as well to provide an update on the program, Mr. Carlos Ball. So I'll pass it over to Ms. Stacy Fowler.
Thank you, Chairman Richardson, and good morning, SLDC Board of Directors. This morning, I am talking with you about the Youth Build Program and our partnership with Slate and Rankin Technical College. We have, I think for the past maybe 4 or 5 years, provided this contribution to support Youth Build to help pay for the materials and supportive services for those young people that are going through the Youth Build program. But this year, they want us to still do the contribution. They are asking us to change the distribution of how we give that contribution to them. So this Youth Build program, of course, it recruits at-risk youth and high poverty, high unemployment areas of the city of St. Louis, offering them this opportunity to learn construction skills, to improve their basic skill development, along with their life skill and soft skill development. Rankin Tech normally would, we would normally give the distribution to Rankin to do everything. This time they're asking us to continue with the 150, but they want us to give 125 to Rankin to pay for the materials and the supplies for the houses and the things that the youth will be learning on, and then to give the other 25,000 directly to Slate so they can deal with the supportive services, transportation, because the way we were distributing the money before, they would have to always go to Rankin for them to give the money back. So they're just asking us to do what we've always done, but they're just asking us to distribute it to them separately. This was approved back in 2021 under Resolution 21 SLDC 784. And as of today, we have not distributed any money to them, and it is to cover a 40-month period. So we're just asking for you to continue to allow us to continue our partnership, but to just distribute the funds separately. And Mr. Ball is here for to answer any questions you have about the program, how they're doing. He's representing Ms. Freddie McGowan of Slate this morning.
Right, right. Thank you, Ms. Stacy Fowler. Any questions, comments about the resolution or the partnership itself? I see Director Gilbert, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, so they've actually still continued to operate this program and we haven't paid them for almost 2 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I'm trying to remember back to the original one, the original resolution. Was it split similarly that they'd get
No,
a certain amount of money
Actually,
for?
it was the exact same amount of money for Board Member Gilbert. It basically all the 150 totally went to Rankin. And so Slate would have to go to Rankin for them to give back the supportive services dollars.
But that was intended in the original. We thought it would work that way.
Oh, it did. It has been working that way in the past. They're just asking for this go around that we split it.
Yeah, but how are they giving us back money to Slate if we never gave them the money in the first place? What are they reimbursing us from? Their own funds?
No, they're not reimbursing us. We're actually giving them the dollars. Well, we basically, I guess so. I understand what you're saying now. We normally would give them the dollars to pay for the materials because of the Youth Build program. So Rankin, I guess, had to use their own dollars to pay for the materials because we haven't given it to them yet. And maybe Carlos can add some clarity to how the dollars have been used.
Yes, good morning, everyone. You're correct, Ms. Stacy. Rankin has put most of the bill along with our provider, EDSI. So they recently submitted us with a bill from our first cohort of $68,000. So that went to our fiscal department. So the cost has been eaten, I believe, by EDSI and Slate together.
Okay, so now what we're doing is effectively changing that original resolution. Are we canceling it because it still has a time frame left on it and we're starting new with this one? It's sort of confusing because we're not amending our original. We've got a new resolution. I just want to make sure that we've canceled the other one. And we're not double dipping.
Okay, so basically, we are amending resolution 21 SLDC 784. And extending the time period, because by us not having all of this done at the time it should have been done, the way we've written this is we're not double dipping, we're just extending the time, and we're amending the current resolution on the books.
Okay, I just want that to be clear.
Except-
I'm not
except the
questioning the
very time.
program at all. I think it's a very worthwhile program and is a good one for us to support. I just wanted to be clear on the timing and the cost. Thank
Yes, ma'am.
Director McBride.
Yes, thank you. I mean, my questions are similar to Director Gilbert's, but I'm not completely, I think the answer begs action from the board to both amend this instant resolution to specifically reference the monies authorized in 21 SLD 784. And also, I didn't understand until Ms. Fowler just said it, that the timeline was extended. So we need to indicate that presumably what you're saying, Stacy, is at the time, the 40 months begins as of today.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's not clear at all.
Oh.
So we needed to amend this resolution to say that.
Okay,
Well, it says effective date of this resolution, but again, we still have the 784 hanging out there. So
yeah,
we need
so,
to reference 784 to clean this up.
so do you want us to basically squash 784 and start over with SLDC 868? Or do we
Unless
just go
there's
ahead and,
something tied to 784 that we
or should
inadvertently
we
did
not even
damage
have
to.
this resolution and just extend and amend SLCD 784 without having a whole new resolution?
Good morning, board. Can everyone hear me okay? This is James Morrow with.
Oh,
Hi,
thank
Jane,
you.
just speak up just a little bit, please.
Yeah, because we
Thank
can't hear
James.
you, James.
Sure. Problem. Yeah, I understand what the board is saying. I think it can be as simple as having a motion from the board to amend the current resolution in action item 1 to simply cancel out the resolution 21 SLDC 784.
Thank you, James.
So James, you're saying to amend the, say that one more time, so I'm clear of the motion that needs to happen.
Sure. So we would take up a motion to amend resolution 23 SLDC 868 to add language in action item 1 under the now therefore clauses to add a sentence stating that this resolution overrides and cancels resolution 21 SLDC 784.
So James, just to be clear, we're going to be asking for a motion to add language in action item number 1 within the current resolution 868 to add a sentence to override resolution SLDC 784.
Correct, 21 SLDC 784. Otherwise, yes, that's exactly correct.
Are there any other questions before we entertain that motion? Okay, hearing none, I would like to entertain a motion to amend resolution number 23 SLDC 868 to include language in action item 1 in order to put language in the resolution that will override resolution SLDC number 21-784.
So moved. McBride.
Second, Davis.
Previous row.
Previous row has been requested.
Second, the request for previous role.
Previous row has been requested and seconded. Any objections, statements? Hearing none, the motion passes to amend resolution number 23 SLDC 868 to add that additional language. Now that we move forward to the amended resolution, do I have a motion to approve the amended resolution number 23 SLDC 868?
I
So
move
moved,
to-
Gilbert.
Second, Davis.
Previous row, Boyd.
Second request for previous role.
Previous row has been requested and seconded. Any objections, statements? Hearing none, the motion passes to approve the amended resolution number 23 SLDC 868. You all are really testing my my Robert rules this
Early.
morning.
We got you. Don't worry about
Too
it.
early this morning. Okay, so we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, resolution number 23 SLDC 869, authorizing a lease between the city of St. Louis and SLDC for additional space at 1520 Market. Stacy, I have you on the agenda again.
Thank you, Chairman Richardson, and to the board. St. Louis Development Corporation requires additional space in order to accommodate additional staff in our current location at 1520 Market Street. The city has provided this space to us in a 5-year lease between SLDC and the city of St. Louis for a portion of the 3rd floor at 1520 Market Street to address our needs. This space in this 5-year term will be $24,000 per year. The space is to be leased is approximately 3,522 thousand square feet on the 3rd floor at Suite 3029. A draft of the lease is attached. With all that we're doing with all the different programs we are rolling out through our Economic Justice Action Plan and needing additional staff to help us implement this plan and our ARPA dollars, it just makes sense for us to not have to try to go outside of the building and stay in the building to keep the staff approximately close to each other so that we can be effective and work. And we're asking the board to approve this resolution for the additional space for us to be able to implement the programs efficiently and effectively.
Stacy, thank you for that great overview. Just for the edification of the board, the staff that we plan to have on the 3rd floor will be inclusive of the compliance team that's managed by Stacy Fowler, but then also the new 10 neighborhood managers that we have hired to support our 79 neighborhoods, understanding they will be out in the community. However, we will have a need for space for them to meet, for them to have office space, and then also for them to convene. So we are asking for the additional space because it's needed for us to continue the operations of SLDC as we continue to grow and meet the demands of our community as well as the Economic Justice Action Plan. So any questions from the board? Director McBride.
Yes, this sounds like a good use of space. Is there going to be any additional build out required from this suite that we're going to be leasing?
Yeah, so that we're currently working with the comptroller's office on the upgrades to the space. They're going to provide the basic paint and upgrades there. However, we have, after I toured the space yesterday with the comptroller's office, there is a need to refurbish some of the cubicles and replace some of the cubicles and furniture that's there. We don't foresee that being an extensive expense. And if it is, we will come back before the board to make that request. However, we foresee this to be an easy transition and a low cost improvement that's needed. So that's why we see this as a great opportunity and a great space for the team as we continue to grow.
Outstanding. Well, I'm glad we're giving the new additions to the team a place that's proximate to everyone else at SLDC. So very good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I would like to entertain a motion to approve resolution number 23 SLDC 869.
So move McBride, request previous role.
Second, Spencer.
Previous row has been requested and seconded. Is there any objections to previous row? Abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes to approve resolution number 23 869. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 23 SLDC 870, authorizing the issuance of an RFQ for engineering services, including civil, structural, transportation, surveying, and marine, and to establish a short list of pre-qualified firms to provide such services. With that, I'll pass it over to Mr. Rob Orr to provide the presentation for this resolution.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Good morning, commissioners. This resolution would authorize SLDC to issue an RFQ in order to create a list of pre-qualified engineers that could provide services as needed on various projects, especially in situations where time is of the essence. So that as projects come up and as issues happen, we could turn to that short list and then request proposals from firms that have already been deemed to be qualified on the basis of their response to the RFQ, seek proposals, and then bring any potential contracts that we may want to enter into back to the board or the respective board, rather than have each of the constituent agencies, and primarily we're talking about LCRA and the Port Authority, it could be LRA, those individual agencies could adopt the short list at their own discretion of those boards. But rather than have an RFQ issued by LCRA, by the port, and have all these engineering firms respond to each of them, in the past, what we have done is on behalf of those constituent agencies, SLDC issues the RFQ, goes through a selection process, and then the individual agencies can then adopt that list at their discretion to use. We don't use this list often. It's generally for short and emergency or rapid turnaround time type of projects. Contracts, again, will be brought back to the board, whether it's this board or if LCRA adopts it and decides to enter into a contract. There is no guarantee of work. This is just to help save us time if or when we need that. Again, we will seek proposals from firms that are on that list if such projects come up. And so the RFQ in the substantial form that it will be issued in is included in the packet. And at this time, I would be willing to answer any questions you may have.
Director McBride, I recognize your hand.
Thank you. Rob, does this RFQ give any preference to firms that are located within the city of St. Louis as opposed to other jurisdictions?
So in the past, we certainly have. There is a standard response form. I don't believe that's attached to the actual RFQ, which outlines the process and the criteria. But in that response form, we do seek their relationship within the city or within the region. And what we've always done in the past is to defer to the selection committee to establish the criteria and the scoring. And that has always been one of those categories that has been included in that scoring matrix.
Very good, thank you.
Certainly, because Good question. The timing is really one of the critical issues for creating the short list. So proximity to St. Louis and being able to respond quickly and get working on a project that, has some critical elements regarding time. It does make it important for a firm to be, within close proximity of the city or certainly in the region.
Great. And to answer your questions, Director McBride.
I'm sorry. Yes, that answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the
I guess I
board?
would add, I made it clear, we will bring back the recommendations of that selection committee to this board to also approve the short list prior to it being adopted. So additionally, contracts down the road will be brought to the board, but also the adoption of the recommended short list will be brought to the board after the selection committee conducts its business.
Thank you, Rob. With that, I'm not hearing any other questions or comments. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 23 SLDC 870?
So move, Gilbert.
Second, Boyd, previous row.
Previous row has been requested. Any objections to previous row? Abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes to approve resolution number 23 SLDC 870. So that gets us through our resolutions for today. Now we move to the open agenda director's report. As you all are familiar with at the board of directors, we have the Economic Justice Action Plan that has been rolled out, and we've been hiring staff moving forward on activating that plan in a very expeditious manner. And we are excited that we're starting to take some steps forward. One of those first steps and major accomplishments is the opening of the Northside Economic Empowerment Center, which happened this month. It was a great turnout. Over 300 individuals showed up. Press from every news outlet was there in the city of St. Louis. It was a great partnership with SLPS, and we were very excited to have this opening. I think one of the things that really settled in my heart when we were walking through was seeing the pride of the alumni from Sumner that was present. They had their t-shirts on, they had their ribbons on representing Sumner as alumni, and really just showing the opportunity and the impact that we're driving to create hope within this community again, and providing resources for businesses to come into North St. Louis City. We talk a lot about North St. Louis City, but to see activation and again, over 300 people being present within that building to celebrate the work of SLDC and the partnership with SLPS was just a moment I will never forget, and probably one of my proudest moments thus far as the CEO of SLDC. And that's, again, come from a lot of the great work that you all have committed and really pushed us towards as the board. We do have a quick clip that we wanted to show you all for those who were not able to attend the event. So Sarah, I'll actually stop sharing my screen and pass it over to you.
All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
As I emphasized in my State of the City address, our city cannot succeed if over half of it is left to fail, which is why I'm proud to announce today that I have signed the Economic Justice Act that was passed to my desk by the Board of Aldermen as part of the city's $150 million commitment to North St. Louis and other disinvested neighborhoods. This act will deliver $93 million in American Rescue Plan funds directly to communities the first step towards a long process of reversing decades of intentional disinvestment to empower, transform, and develop long-neglected neighborhoods after decades of disinvestment. With the Economic Justice Act, St. Louis is laying the foundation to grow stronger, stable communities, which lift every one of our neighborhoods and make our entire city safe for everyone. Today's ribbon cutting is a testament to the center's partners, the Small Business Economic Empowerment Center, Missouri Business Development Agency, MasterCard Digital Doors, and Maryville University, as well as the city, SLDC, SLPS, and the Sumner Advisory Council's ability to come together on exciting new projects. This is what community looks like.
Today, as we sit here, has been over a year coming. Since the mayor has taken office, she's been very thoughtful and strategic about her approach to advancing economic justice. It started with the roadmap at the State of the City in April, laying out the 3 core pillars: economic empowerment, equitable and inclusive development, and neighborhood transformation. Then we culminated and laid the foundation with the rollout of the Economic Justice Action Plan at the Mayor's Business Luncheon. This Economic Justice Action Plan was about not just another plan, but how do we take actionable steps with resources put behind it to be able to see and feel the impact in these neighborhoods that have been historically marginalized and underserved. All right. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate you sharing that clip and having that put together by the media team. That was, again, an exciting moment for the SLDC staff. I also want to give a major shout out to Stacy and her team. She's built a mighty team already, started hiring folks and getting them at the Economic Empowerment Center. I was talking to Stacy yesterday. They already have businesses flooding into the center to get services. And so we're trying to continue to get that staffed up and get people over there to support those businesses. I would like to recognize the hand of Director Davis.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to give my shout out to you and the entire team. You know, the calls that I got for people who were present actually made me cry, because this is something that is so strongly needed for our community. Many people have the ability to do better, but they just don't know how to get there. And this is something that is so needed, and you've done it well the way it's set up. I already have one small business who's been there already, and she is quite pleased. She said that she didn't think anybody really cared, but this is what we have to do and more of it. And I'm hoping that as you move forward, the information somehow has to get on the ground in the neighborhoods. Most Northside neighborhoods do not have a neighborhood association working on their behalf. And so we have to find that way. And I'm glad to hear the other staff is being hired. The commercial managers will really make a difference. So just thank you again.
Yeah. No, thank you. Stacy, do you want to give a quick update of the businesses that you've helped to date already since you started?
So I will tell you, the first day after the ribbon cutting, those folks were meeting us at the door at 8 o'clock, you guys. I was shocked. And a lot of them had seen the news press and they didn't get to come to the ribbon cutting, and they just wanted to come see. Some of them weren't even coming for services. They just wanted to come in the building. So that's the community coming to see what this really is in their community. And we were able to walk them around and help them understand. 2 of the pastors in churches around have come to see how we can work together. So not only are we touching the businesses that are walking through the door asking for services, you know, we are actually working with the community, and there are individuals in the community who want to be there to figure out how they help, how do they get involved, how do they do, you know, make their community better. So we're very excited about that. I guess the first week, we've seen 20 businesses already come through our doors in the first 4 days.
Yeah.
So we're excited. We're just trying to make sure that we have all the resources and people there to meet with them. And I think out of that 20, maybe about 4 or 5 of them came for certification. One came for the grant program. A couple of them came about the corridor applications. And so, believe me, they're coming for everything. I mean, even stuff that it's not us. We're just giving the information. It came about, how do I repair my home? How do I do this? So we're calling all over. What's this program? What's this? So that we can really help people and not give them what I call the runaround and the shuffle, and really give them the pertinent information so they can do what they need to do. So I think it's just beyond just helping businesses. It's really community and just meeting people where they are and giving them the information they need, just like Director Davis said.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler. That's a great testimony of your hard work again and the team that you've put together to start serving them. And we have more individuals that will be at the Economic Empowerment Center from SLDC staff, and we'll continue to provide resources for them to be successful. So again, thank you to the Board of Directors, and also thank you to Alderwoman Davis and Alderwoman Boyd. This $1.6 million that were contributed towards these services came through the ARPA allocation. So again, this is money that we received to support the recovery and resiliency of our small businesses within the city of St. Louis. And so we're moving that forward. Again, thank you all. The next item is the priority redevelopment projects. And so as we are seeking to be more proactive at SLDC and our respective development boards to ensure that we are redeveloping the city, providing resources for stabilization and rehab, but then also marketing properties in a way that we haven't historically done in a very strategic way. So through our Economic Justice Action Plan, we had some key priority areas that we focused on: MLK, Walnut Park, East and West, the NGA area Project Connect, as well as Graveway Park in Dutchtown. And so as you all may recall, we engaged Steadfast City to do a priority project list, some key projects within those areas that can be stabilized and marketed for redevelopment. So I'll pass it over to Doug to lay out those list of projects, and then speak about, from SLDC perspective, resources that we will be putting towards the stabilization of these projects and marketing them for redevelopment to ultimately get them back on the tax roll. So Doug, I'll pass it over to you and your team.
Great, thank you, Neil. Good morning, everybody. So I'm Doug Rasmussen. I'm the CEO of Steadfast City. My colleagues Joel Glasscock and Brianna Tobias are on the phone or on the Zoom call as well. I'm going to mostly let or have Joel and Brianna run through this, but just as an opening comment, you know, our firm is we are headquartered in the city. We've got seven employees here, and we've got other folks who work out of state. But you know, we're obviously very excited and committed to trying to help creatively and strategically look at these key real estate projects and really tee up, you know, some pre-development work that we think will be important to helping attract new investment into these projects and these opportunities. So this really represents kind of the phase one of looking at the projects that were identified off a priority list. And again, I do believe that, you know, through other things going on with the Economic Justice Action Plan, including, you know, plans around creating a fund and some other things that I know Neil is working with his team and with others, and including ourselves. You know, this is an interesting and powerful step, I think, to really drive you know, drive some attention, and we think drive some investment into these properties that are key properties, but all have, you know, development challenges. So I'll turn it over to Joel and Brianna, for their introduction and walkthrough on the slides.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having us today. My name is Joel Glasscock, and I'm a senior project manager of Steadfast City Economic and Community Partners. Over the past few months, our team has worked in collaboration with SLDC staff to develop summary sheets for 16 priority redevelopment projects throughout the city of St. Louis. So what you're seeing here on your screen now is the result of this exercise. This is the final deliverable. So here is the opening page. And I'll scroll down real quick to the project list so everyone here can see what they are. Reading through real quickly, we have the Martin Luther King Innovation District, Sarah Lou Cafe, Wellston Loop Station, Club Imperial, the Chuck Berry House, the Municipal Courts Building, Marshall School, Cleveland High School, Turner School, Easton Development, Railway Exchange Building, the Enterprise Cleaning Building, Be Well Cafe, the Annie Malone Campus, North Sarah Phase 4, and St. Mary's High School. And to orient the reader, here is the geographic location of all those sites throughout the city as well. So obviously you see some concentration in North City, central North City, as well as downtown St. Mary's and Cleveland High School, to South St. Louis and Club Imperial to the north. So as Doug mentioned, this exercise is phase 1 of a multi-phase project and included research on property characteristics, neighborhood drivers, anchors, nearby development activity, community needs, and market opportunities. And really just with the intention to create a high-level general overview of these sites and opportunities for them. So the other important component of this project was the stakeholder outreach, which was conducted by ABNA Engineering Group. And what that outreach did was allow us to identify needs, challenges, and opportunities for these sites and the surrounding communities that we otherwise may not have found from traditional research or quantitative data, things like that. So the intent of this document is to work in coordination with the Economic Justice Action Plan, just as Chairman Richardson was saying, with the goal to both inform and guide redevelopment strategy discussion and decision-making for the future of these properties. Specifically, our findings and recommendations can be used to assist SLDC staff and the city of St. Louis and all of their partners in determining the best distribution of their resources moving forward. Now, another thing that's already been mentioned, and another great way to use this document is as a tool to build support for these projects and to market them to neighborhood stakeholders, interested developers, investors, and other funding sources. The next phase would be to conduct a full market analysis for each site with using this document as the foundation. So that is a high-level quick overview of what has led us to this point at this time. And Doug, there were a few comments from you earlier on, but if there's anything else you'd like to add before I jump into showing an overview of the document.
I'd carry on, please. Thanks, Joel.
All right, great. Okay, so I'll hop back up to the first page here. And then do we want to go through every single page or just give an idea of the document and it will be shared later, just so I know timing wise?
We'll share it with the full group later, but if you can go through maybe a couple examples, maybe Club Imperial and Wellston Loop, just as some LRA properties that we own, just so the board of directors can get an idea of what's included in each document, and then we'll share this full final document with the board of directors as well, and it'll also be shared through the attached to our economic justice action plan as we move forward.
Okay, great, sounds like a plan. Can everyone see the size of the document okay on your end?
It's a little small, but we can maybe expand it. There you go.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay. All right, so here we have the opening page of the document. And then on the second page, it's really framing the entire document around the economic justice action plan. It is set in that base, and we want that to be known from the very beginning, why the reader is looking at this document, why it's important, how the city is using it and its intention. So that is the goal of this page here. Then we move into the list of the projects that I read off earlier, and then orienting the reader of the location of these projects throughout the city as well. That way they have one location to understand where these projects are in reference to both the region, downtown, Forest Park, whatever it may be, interstates. So some of the projects are based on general larger areas. So for example, that would be the MLK Innovation District, but the majority are based on a specific site, such as the Sarah Lou Cafe, as you can see here. So what I will do though is I'm going to scroll to the Club Imperial page, which is located 4. Okay, just want to see how far I'd have to scroll to get there. Okay, so a quick overview of what we wanted to put in this document for each site. We have a general background on the site, the history, kind of building the character and identity of the area and inspiring why these sites are important to the St. Louis community, why they're important to these neighborhoods. So we have a picture here of the building itself and then an aerial of the site to understand the area. And then the typical type of information you would see to help people try to understand what is going on here. So we have population, amount of businesses within 1 mile. We have employees within 1 mile radius, and then also residents within a 5-minute drive. And then we also have the parcel data as well. So all the things you would expect: building square footage, parcel number, zoning, all that fun stuff. So moving on into the second page, keeping with that inspiration for the site, we wanted to include a quote from stakeholders, either from the neighborhood, directly connected from the site, things like that, at the top of the page. And then we have a map that kind of tells the story of what's going on in this area, what is around it, what other type of economic and community drivers and anchors are located around this building that can support and help development. And also the other way, if development was to happen on the site, how it would support these businesses. So this is the intention of this map. Here, as you can see, you have the opportunity site in the different color in blue with yellow around it, other anchors and drivers and other projects that might be going on with the white background here. So the sections we have underneath, there are 3 different ones. The first I'll talk about is the area amenities, which typically kind of reflects in a list form of what you're seeing in the map above. And then with each project, we took a look at the available incentive opportunities that they would have for each site. So that way, if someone is potentially interested in exploring further opportunities with these sites, they could say, okay, well, we have some opportunity for storage here. Maybe it's good for new markets within that capital stack. Maybe tax abatement could be a potential opportunity for the site. So this is things that if someone was looking at this document, maybe a potential investor or developer, they could say, okay, so the city is telling us there are opportunities for these incentives here. Now I can give them a call and see what we can do and how we can progress forward. So using all of our research, quantitative data analysis combined with our community outreach as well, we took a look at the needs of the community, the characteristics of the site, and what types of uses would be appropriate and have the most positive impact on the surrounding community as well. So this is what led to the creation of our recommended projects for each site. So for example, for Club Imperial, we have maybe the potential of a music center, a mixing or sound studio, event, concert hall, gathering space, a museum for St. Louis music legends, which we have many here. youth training opportunities, maybe a restaurants, educational center, or a mixed-use residential project as well. With those recommended projects, we wanted to make sure that we had a wide enough amount of recommendations because we didn't want to put someone that might be interested in the site, put them in a box. We wanted them to think, well, maybe if they're coming to the table with a different idea, we don't want to push them away right at the very beginning by saying, well, my idea doesn't match what's on the recommended projects list, so maybe the city of St. Louis wouldn't be interested in support it. So we wanted to avoid obviously being too general, but also being too specific on the other side of that spectrum as well. Then I know the other project we wanted to talk about was the Wellston Loop, but Neil or anyone else, if you want to add anything at this point, please.
Yeah, one thing I just wanted to say, Joe, I think we can wrap this up. I know we have people, individuals have to drop off at 9 o'clock for another meeting. But overall, I want the board of directors to know that these projects have been strategically selected in partnership with community, in alignment with the action plan to ensure as we're getting resources, as we're rolling out grant funding, that we are allocating those dollars in a strategic manner. We received, SLDC did $20 million through the Proactive Development Fund from the Economic Justice Act that the mayor signed last week. And so we want to ensure that as we're deploying some of those resources, it's going into projects such as Wellston Loop, such as Club Imperial, to stabilize them and then market them for redevelopment. We've seen some great success already through Prop NS with some of our residential rehabs of LRA, and now being able to stabilize some of our larger commercial projects on significant corridors in North St. Louis City and areas of Southeast City. It's going to help drive economic growth in those areas. And so I just wanted the board of directors to, one, get a full update from Steadfast City, but then two, understand why it's important for us to be very strategic on the projects we select and in partnership with community in allocating resources in a manner that is aligned with the Economic Justice Action Plan and drives collective growth. Rob Orr's team, as well as Lance Knuckles with the LRA team, will be working in tandem to stabilize these projects, assign project managers to each one of them, and then ensure that they are marketed in a very direct manner for redevelopment in partnership with the community-based organizations in these various neighborhoods. So with that, I'd like to open it up to any questions that the board of directors may have. See Director Spencer.
Thank you, Chairman Richardson. This is long overdue, and congratulations. What a director's report. This really gets everybody excited. One suggestion on these properties, this is about historic preservation. It's about economic development. It's about neighborhood revitalization. But understanding the ownership is really critical in these projects. So if it is LRA or city owned, if it is privately owned, what are some of those barriers? What's the timing look like to be able to access the property to continue that development project forward? I think would be really important. I'm just thinking out loud about the St. Mary's High School with the Archdiocese. Railroad Exchange is under, has some barriers. So just really clarifying which ones are really ready to go right now and what other ones might need a little bit more time, a little bit more work.
Yeah, Director Spencer, that's a great point. And we will be working with Doug and his team to really zone in and get laser focused on those things. There are some projects that you will be seeing coming before the LRA board, LCRA board, as well as back to SLDC for funding opportunities that are more ready to go. And so we're excited. We have one actually coming, the Be Well Cafe, before the LCRA board this month, that we are going to provide some resources towards to actually get it completed, because it was about a $3 million project, had about $300,000 gap that they needed to close, and we had some resources that can close that gap, right? So that's done now because we are strategically aligned. We've been able to identify these projects, get money to those places and let's just get it done. Like it's, you know, I think we're all are just
We're planned out.
I'm just ready to go. And so that's what we're aiming to do. But then projects such as, you know, Club Imperial, it's LRA owned, but we need to put some resources into it before it's even ready to be sold. And we need to take action on some of those things now as we are getting these resources. So getting the resources, allocating them to the project, assigning a project manager to it and moving it forward. So that's the plan of action that we have for this plan. I'll pass it over to Director Boyd. I see your hand, Alderwoman.
I keep going in and out because something's going on with my screen. But see, there it goes. I don't know if you can see the crazy on it. So it's not me doing that. That's the computer.
Okay.
But I just want to applaud you, Neil, and your staff because you have taken SLDC in a whole nother direction. And so that's powerful to me because what I'm seeing, the targets that you all have, these are areas that people have literally been begging to say, you know, when are we going to get a piece to start working on this? So I want to thank Alderwoman Davis because she is the developer guru. So she has kind of helped me through a lot of things that I didn't know. And I had to learn that it doesn't happen overnight. But sometimes you feel like, well, which night is it going to happen? Because you just like, I've been waiting for a lot of nights. So thank you, because the projects that you have, I see you know, you target North St. Louis, but you spread it out. And so you are actually doing the work that SLDC was created to do. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Director Boyd, Alderwoman Boyd. Any other questions? I know folks may have to drop at 9 o'clock. Okay, hearing none. The next regular board meeting is scheduled to be held Thursday, February 16th, 2023 at 8 a.m. Via Zoom. So again, I want to thank you all for your participation. We got this done in under an hour. Thank you. With that, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Appreciate it. See you next month.